Originally today I was going to make a video talking about Moritz Seider, but that's going to have to wait until tomorrow because I got to talk about this team, especially after last night. The New York Islanders, year after year, season after season, playoff series after playoff series, they just continue to make me look like a fool and prove me wrong. With last night's Game 6 victory over the Boston Bruins, the New York Islanders are heading to their second consecutive Eastern Conference Finals, Actually, I guess it's not an Eastern Conference Final this year, it's just called the Stanley Cup Playoffs Semifinals. But they're heading to their second straight Final Four, and for the second consecutive year, they're going to be playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll come back to that series, and I'll give a prediction for you guys a little bit later in the video, but first, let's just talk about how the New York Islanders got here. They came into the Stanley Cup Playoffs as the number 4 seed, matched up against the 1 seed Penguins in the first round. The Islanders went into that series as pretty big underdogs. The majority of the predictions that I seen had the Penguins advancing. I think I predicted the Penguins in 7, and if you just go by the most popular sports betting books out there, Pittsburgh were heavy favorites. And that does make sense. After all, the Penguins were the 1 seed coming into the playoffs, the Islanders being the 4 seed, and the Islanders were kind of sliding into the playoffs. They did not play well down the stretch in the regular season, but if there's anything that this New York Islanders team has shown us over the past couple of postseasons, it's that heading into a playoff series, everything and anything that happened leading up to that point doesn't matter. You can throw it all out the window. So in the first round, coming into the series as underdogs against the 1 seed, the New York Islanders are able to upset the Penguins in 6. And then heading into the second round against the Boston Bruins, what do you know, the New York Islanders are once again underdogs. Now I know not everybody predicted the Boston Bruins to win that series. There's definitely a lot of people out there that thought the Islanders were going to win, but I'm just talking in the majority sense. The majority of people took the Boston Bruins. Again, going back to the sports betting books, they had the Boston Bruins as favorites. And once again, the Islanders just found a way to get it done. Again, like in the first round, it only took them 6 games. It is truly remarkable what this team has been able to do since the departure of John Tavares and since they brought on Barry Trotz as the head coach. It's a cliche, but I really do feel like it's true when it comes to the New York Islanders. This is a team built for the playoffs. The way that Barry Trotz is confidently able to roll 4 lines, the system that Trotz has this team playing, it's very difficult to play against in a 7-game series, and they've shown us that. Like I just said, they're able to roll all 4 lines and do it extremely well. If you take a look at the Islanders forwards ice time throughout the postseason so far, there isn't really a line that plays like a ridiculous amount more than other lines, and I think that speaks to the confidence Barry Trotz has in his team and how bought in every single player is on the Islanders to the system that Trotz wants them to play. I feel like it was extremely evident in their series against the Boston Bruins, but this team just comes at you in waves. They do not stop. Their forecheck is relentless, their puck pursuit, their puck pressure is fantastic, and this is a team that just wears you down. Boston looked extremely tired in Game 6, especially in the third period. In last night's game when it was 4-2, it was late in the third period, I think there was like 3 minutes or so left, and that's around the time you'd expect a team to pull their goaltender when they're facing a 2-goal deficit. However, they just couldn't. I don't think they were able to pull Tuukka Rask until it was like at the 1.5 minute mark, or maybe even less than that, because for like a minute straight late in the third period, the Islanders were just cycling it in Boston's zone, and they were kind of doing it with ease. The Bruins that were on the ice at that point just looked dead. They looked like they were ready to go home. At this point, whether you like them or not, you just have to give credit to the New York Islanders. This is an amazing team. They're at their best when it matters most in the playoffs. Yeah, sure, maybe at times this isn't the most fun team in the world to watch. I feel like, especially when they get the lead, they do a really good job of just dumbing the game down and making it extremely difficult for the opposing team to just get anything at all. Again, referencing their series against the Boston Bruins, there were numerous games where the Bruins had a lot of shots. I think they had 40 something in Game 5. However, out of those 40 or however many shots there were on goal in Game 5, how many of them were really high danger scoring chances? The Islanders do a really good job of keeping everything to the outside, making sure that their goaltenders, whoever it may be on that given night, Sorokin or Varlamov, can see the puck. And talking about the Islanders goaltending for a second here, how crazy is it that in the first round against the Penguins, Ilya Sorokin accounted for all 4 of the New York Islanders wins, and then in the second round series against the Boston Bruins, Semyon Varlamov accounted for all 4 of the Islanders wins. So 4 wins for Sorokin in the first round, 4 wins for Varlamov in the second round. And I think I've seen a stat at the end of tonight's game that this is the first time that that has actually happened since Patrick Waugh and another goaltender did it on the Montreal Canadiens. So a long time ago. I'll try to find the screenshot of the stat and put it up on the screen. At this point, you really just have to give a ton of credit to the New York Islanders. That's the reason why I'm making this video. I could admit when when I'm wrong, and I have been wrong about this team more than once. And on a side note, an underrated part of the Islanders' playoff run so far is the fact that they are doing this without their captain Anders Lee, which makes it that much more impressive. Now, one last thing quickly before I end off this video, I want to touch on and talk about their upcoming series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like I said at the start of the video, this is a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, the New York Islanders fell short to the Lightning, who would go on to win the Stanley Cup. So is the outcome going to be any different this year? I feel kind of dumb even saying this, and it's kind of ironic that I'm making this prediction in a video that's literally praising the New York Islanders, but I am going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning in this series, and that's really not a knock on the Islanders. Tampa Bay just looks like an absolute wagon. They took out Carolina kind of with ease. It only took them 5 games. They're just clicking on all cylinders, and out of the teams remaining, Vegas, Colorado, Montreal, the Islanders, and Tampa Bay, those 5 teams, based on everything that I've saw in the playoffs so far, I think I would pick the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. I think they're going to go back to back. Now, I actually don't want that to happen. I'm rooting for the Islanders in this series. I would love to see them upset the Lightning. I just want to see new teams in the Stanley Cup Finals, to be honest. And also, watching a Stanley Cup playoff game in Nassau Coliseum be pretty electric. I mean, that crowd was just ridiculous. They have arguably the best home ice advantage in the entire league, if you ask me, especially in the playoffs. When you're watching them play, their crowd is just buzzing throughout the entire game. It literally feels like they don't sit down. It's impressive, honestly. But anyways, like I said, I am taking the Tampa Bay Lightning to win this series. I feel like at this point, the way they're playing, you'd almost be crazy to bet against them. And Islanders fans, don't hate me for that prediction. You should honestly be happy that I'm picking your team to lose, because I have this thing where what I predict, the opposite usually happens. So once I start picking the Islanders to win things, that's when you should start to worry. But all jokes aside, I do think this should be a pretty fun series. If I had to guess game amount, I think it's going to be a long series, so I'll say Bolts in 6 or 7. Again though, I am rooting for the Islanders here, so Islanders fans, don't hate me, I'm on your side. But that is going to do it for today's video. I figured after last night's game, the Islanders advancing to the Final Four for the 2nd consecutive year, it was time to make a dedicated video about them, because I do see comments every so often from Islanders fans telling me I never talk about their team, and when I do, it's usually not good, like it's me predicting them to miss the playoffs or predicting them to lose a series or something. But that was most certainly not the case for today's video. Well, actually it kind of was, because I still did predict them to lose to the Lightning, but the majority of this video is positive. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think though, so be sure to leave your predictions for the Isles Lightning series down below in the comment section. Which one of these teams do you think is advancing to the Stanley Cup Final? If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, where I just talk about a team in the playoffs or something going on in the playoffs, then be sure to leave this video a like. That is the best way to show your support. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all in the next video.